the class in October 20th through 23rd, and any future pre-qual applicants will be moved to that date once they pass pre-qualification. Pleased to announce we do have one long gun trainer course, the 3-day class that we again hold at the Justice Academy in Salemburg. That is scheduled for April 7th through 9th. We do just have a couple of seats left. It seems to be filling up. But again, if we have any firearm trainers, current active firearm trainers that are interested in becoming long gun trainers, like I said, we just have a couple of seats left. I would not delay getting that application in. As far as completed training is concerned, we finished a unarmed guard training course back in February 16th through 20th. I'm pleased to announce we have 17 new unarmed guard trainers that have joined us. Since we last met in January, I did have the opportunity to conduct one firearms trainer audit. The trainer's name is Robert McCrory. The date of the audit was Thursday, February 5th, 2026. The location was at his main office of Eagle Eye Security, 9308 Smart Drive here in South Raleigh. The audit period was from January through December of 2025. And in reviewing all of his records, all his pre and post delivery reports and all targets were accounted for. I noted no violations or concerns. We had several weapon discharges this period. The first weapon discharge involved a Timothy Patillo. He is employed with Professional Security and Investigation. The date of the incident is January 8th, 2026 at approximately 6 a.m. The location of the incident is a facility called Paperworks, located at 6530 Franz Warner Parkway in Whitsett, North Carolina. Weapon involved is a Glock 19 9mm, and Officer Patillo was active armed guard when the incident occurred. On January 8th, 2026, Patillo was working armed security for PSI at Paperworks in Whitsett. He, during his shift or at shift change, he was approached by an employee, and this female stated to him that she felt someone was tampering with her vehicle in the parking lot and enlisted his assistance to escort her to her vehicle to figure out what was going on. Patillo walked over to the employee's car and noticed a female armed with a knife trying to cut the tires from the employee's vehicle. Upon being approached, the female suspect entered a red in color SUV. At that time, Patillo approached her while she was in the vehicle, and then the suspect drove away, dragging Patillo for a short period of time, and he injured his leg in the process. He was dragged approximately 10 to 12 feet. Upon being dragged, he could notice in the window, according to him, there was a firearm, and then he let go. The driver turned around, and he felt that she was approaching him in the vehicle, and he felt at that point his life was in danger. So he unholstered his weapon and he fired 7 to 8 shots into the suspect's vehicle to stop her, and then the suspect drove away, and to my knowledge was identified. He was transported to the hospital for treatment, and the Guilford County Sheriff's Office did respond and charged Patillo with discharging a firearm into an occupied dwelling. He has since been placed on administrative leave pending the disposition of the case. PSI has informed me that they have terminated their contract with Paperworks as a result of this incident. I did reach out to the Guilford County Sheriff's Office and requested their police report just to confirm the facts. They did not comply with my request as of today. I did confirm the charges and the leads. So that much I was able to verify. The second weapons discharge involves a David Prine with Allied Universal Security Services. This incident happened on March 1st, 2026 at approximately 5:50 a.m. at the Anson Correctional Institution at 552 Prison Camp Road in Polkton, North Carolina. An M&P 9mm was involved, and he was an active armed guard when this incident occurred. This incident happened at shift change. Again, he was attempting to clear his weapon at a clearing barrel during shift change and negligently discharged a round when he shouldn't have. He was placed on administrative suspension, and I received confirmation from PSI that they did send him back through remedial training. I believe the facility was Premier Training Academy, and they emailed me the certificates. They required him to go through remedial training just to, as a result of this incident. No damages were reported and no injuries were reported. The last weapons discharge that was reported involved a Dominic Threat, Officer Threat. He is involved with P&G Security. This incident happened on March 7th, 2026 at 12:37 p.m. The location of the incident was at a Food Lion located at 2123 Betty's Ford Road in Charlotte. The weapon involved was a Glock 19, 9mm, and Officer Threat was an active armed guard when the incident occurred. In this particular scenario, incident, Officer Threat was working at the Food Lion, and during his shift, a customer was exiting the store carrying what appeared to be a Food Lion bag. My understanding is that he was asked to stop and ask for receipts, similar to other stores that I guess have random self-checkout or whatever, but he was asked to check the receipt. And the suspect in this case told Officer Threat, I came in with this stuff. This was my own personal belongings, and refused to show the receipt. According to Officer Threat's statement, he didn't think anything of it and just let him go on about his way. A few minutes later, the the store manager approached Threat and had an opportunity to look at the surveillance camera and said, no, that individual actually shoplifted from us. So at that time, Threat made the decision to exit the store, get in his company vehicle, and kind of patrol the parking lot to see if he could locate him. He called 911, got the police on the phone, trying to coordinate resources to stop and detain this person and get him stopped for detained for shoplifting. According to Threat, he lost sight of him. He ran off, but he did drop the Food Lion bag. So at that point, Officer Threat got out of the vehicle and went to just go retrieve the bag, thinking that he had run off and that was the end of it. He was just going to retrieve the items that he dropped. However, as it turned out, the suspect then jumped from behind a bush or a fence like he was lying in wait for him. Like it was almost like the bag was baiting him. So, because when he went to go get the bag, the suspect reapproached with a knife and stabbed him several times. Officer Threat was transported, very serious injuries, obviously. And he was transported to a nearby hospital, treated for his injuries. According to them, the suspect's identity was never determined. And my understanding, Threat has not been charged. I've not been able to confirm any, and would probably have no reason to be, but I've not confirmed that he's been charged with anything. P&G Security has placed Threat on administrative leave pending this incident, clearly. Topics for discussion. Just a quick update on the human trafficking and counterterrorism component being added to the unarmed guard class course. I'm pleased to announce that those are now active on our website. The PowerPoints have been created. The lesson plans have been updated. I did at the February unarmed guard training workshop, I did finally formally introduce that new section at our first course that this has been active under. So hopefully that they'll start incorporating that into their classes as well. I'm also pleased to announce to remain in compliance with ADA requirements, we have now training forms on the PPS website that are now in PDF fillable format. I have sent an email to the firearms trainers this week notifying of them of such, and I'm pleased to announce that most of them read my email. So a lot of the forms are now coming in on the new fillable formats. So hopefully that'll be easier for everybody. And that will conclude my portion of the report. If there are any questions or
I didn't realize that you had updated them, and I was help teaching a class a couple weeks ago, and I liked it. It was really nice.
Oh, the new forms?
No, the human trafficking and the counterterrorism component. I said, okay, nice.
Great.
I just wanted to go back and clarify just one point for the firearms training for March 4th. How many new trainers did you have in that class?
So that was a research pre-qual date.
Oh, that was pre-qual.
It was both. And if you'll give me just a moment, I will pull the numbers up because I have the score sheet. That was just a research date. Give me just a moment. So for that date, we had, I'm sorry. One second. I apologize. You said March 4th.
I didn't realize it was a research prequel. I thought it was a new one. I moved it over to the completed training section, but I didn't.
So that was a dual handgun, long gun research date. We had 15 that were scheduled for research. Unfortunately, 2 did not attend. We had 13 attend for research. Correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 18 attend for research, 13 of those being long gun instructors also. And we had 5 scheduled for pre-qualification, and 3 did not attend.
Thank you.
Guilford County never identified the,
I was in communication with their records division, and they requested a copy of the report on letterhead, which I made, and I didn't receive a response back. So I would have preferred to confirm everything that was being told to me, but I haven't been able to because they haven't sent me the report.
one female, cutting tires on another female's vehicle. I would think there was probably a little knowledge somewhere along the line of who's who.
If they did identify, I don't think the company knew who it was, and I could only go off what the company was telling me at the time.
You do got run over by a car.
Yeah.
So that's a weapon.
Some don't make sense.
Yep.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the report by Ms. Battle.
So moved.
You have a second? Okay. Discussion? Okay, motion.
Vote.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, the motion passes. Moving on to the courses. We had quite a few courses. We had quite a few new courses. And in going through all of them, quite a few were for private investigators. Seeing as though we have quite a few private investigators on the committee, did anything stick out to you guys, or were there anything that you would like to discuss about any of the courses? I know quite a few topics were for AI. And Suzanne, I know that's in kind of with emerging technologies. Did you have any thoughts about any of the courses?
I actually didn't review those. I'm on the laws and rules. And
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Training and education.
Okay.
So my schedule said
You
training
gonna talk
and
about the use of force?
education was at 9:30 and laws and rules at 8:30.
Okay.
I'm just listening. We'll go over that during the regular meeting.
Got it. Okay, so the only thing that stuck out to me really was the use of force for the transport of mental patients. I saw within the resume that my only concern is that he didn't list any certifications dealing with like specialized populations or how to assess that someone is in a mental health crisis. And so that was my only reservation about approving that course.
How often is that done? Mental health transports by security or PIs?
I get asked about it on occasion, typically from security guard and patrol companies who want to know if it falls within our jurisdiction, which it does not. But I am asked about it maybe once or twice a year.
Is this not the same, we've seen this before, a couple meetings ago or last meeting?
Use of
It rings a
this-
bell to me in looking at it, at the application.
January. And surveillance.
That's an instructor. All these classes.
Um,
Mr. Stroll, we did receive a course from this Leroy Lassenberg in September of 2025. That course was safe and ethical transport for mentally ill patients. And at that time, the board wanted to gather, they deferred consideration of the course because you wanted more information about his, kind of the same thing, his credentials.
Okay.
I don't see that he ever responded to our inquiry.
And again, that same thing kind of hit me reviewing the paperwork.
I'd do the same thing again, just request more information.
Okay. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve all the courses with the exception of number 13, use of force during mental health crisis transports.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Discussion. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, motion passes. Any additional topics or discussion for training and education?
I have one.
Okay.
In light of something that come before grievance yesterday, I think that I just want to bring it to training education's radar, so to speak. 35 individuals were trained online, and come to find out the class really didn't happen, or very few attended, which brings into question for me. I see it. Well, I bring it into a question, but also I see it a problem potentially in the future on how to determine if people are really showing up to these classes. So I get that technology's out there and all that other good stuff, but training security officers and for unarmed and potentially, have them show up virtually for armed for a portion of the class, I think that we need to look at this.
Whether it's online or in person.
Yeah. 35 people is a lot of people.
Yeah.
For an online class, and then come to find out the majority of the people were not even there. So I would like to, potentially discuss that with this committee and get
Was
feedback.
that an online class or a virtual class?
It was a virtual class.
Okay.
Yeah, my mistake. Virtual. So I've attended virtual classes before, and there's screenshots and people being there, but at the same time, I can cut my camera off and go get a cup of coffee, or prop my feet up and watch some sports channels or something like that while the class is going on. I'm not saying I've done it, but
It could be done.
it could be done. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's something. I take the unarmed guard class serious. I take the armed class serious, and I think that's something that we as a committee should talk about it.
Okay. What do you think about adding like a recording requirement? Like, if you're gonna do it online, like a recording of the class should be submitted as proof.
I think that's one thing we could do. But if we do that, then it's going to be up to the instructor to ensure that everybody remains online and only takes breaks when they allot the breaks. But that's
I don't know how you would do it.
I don't either.
Well, I know for Microsoft Teams or Zoom, it's a function that you hit record. Like when
Yeah,
you,
no, you can record, but, you know, are you gonna require that everybody stays
On the screen.
on the screen? And then sometimes, according to how the instructor sets it up, all it may show on the computer from their end, it may not show everybody's picture. It may just show the, what they're sharing. So there's so much.
well, I know one of the problems was the instructor wasn't doing the whole 16 hours too. They were only doing 8 of the 16.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I think if there's a way that maybe, I hate adding another committee, but 2 or 3 people that could take a look at all of this on how we keep up with training. And I don't know, maybe look at how CJ Standards is doing it as well. But, you know, when you
They're not doing virtual.
when you open up training that you can get it any way, just about what you want to get it, it makes it very difficult. And especially with as many classes as we have going on that are approved, I mean, there's no way that Karen can keep up with when something is with every one of these classes and know when somebody is given the class and when they aren't. The only way to do it is to get a better grasp on it, like CJ Standards does, to say, okay, that's where you set this is mandatory training, and then you make sure that mandatory training is done the way it's supposed to be done. That's the only way I know to do it, is that you'd have to set up and say, these are mandatory courses. This is your 12 hours every year you've got to get. And now we can keep an eye on it. Because it's going to be impossible to keep up with 5,032 classes that we have approved.
Yeah, I'm mainly talking about
Chair of a subcommittee right there.
the primary 2 classes that these security officers have to take, unarmed and armed.
Right.
Because you being an industry member and now knowing that there's an instructor and probably many more out there that are giving these basic classes that we require virtually to 35 people that don't even exist.
Right.
But didn't
But
even know
armed and
that.
unarmed now would be a whole lot easier, because you could just simply do something to where they have to report when they're going to give an unarmed class and when they're going to give an armed class. And then Karen could randomly pick a class here and there to select to watch.
We used to require such thing and then we got rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, when you just be submitting a pre-approval to be able to run this class.
Pre and post delivery.
Exactly.
We start doing it by our
We're,
own too.
we're not as lengthy, quite, but just having this is when we're going to run our classes, and that way check in on them.
And the issues is, we can't do anything about online. The issue is really the virtual.
Yeah, but even virtual and online, I know you would love to have I'm just saying, like, if you did one class a month or something, to just take a sneak peek in there. Not saying to take the whole class, but if you dropped your head in a class to make sure people were there,
See if it's still going.
catch them off guard. I don't know. Or Paul can just hire somebody.
I'd love more
It ain't
people.
nothing but money.
You do it for free.
Let's let Richard. He'll check all the online classes.
It was your idea. Well, we used to do it for online, and the board voted to do away with it because we were not doing it for in person. So somebody who did it online had to submit a pre-delivery they were doing it, but somebody who was doing it in a classroom didn't have to.
Yeah, I think you want to do both. I mean,
I mean,
Yeah.
that would be like
I know it'd be a bunch.
thousands of pre
I know.
and post.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think you'd want necessarily pre and post. I'm just thinking about that they would just send schedule when they're running their, when they're running armed or unarmed training. And you just have a ongoing list of them, but I know it would be bunches.
That'd be tough. That'd be a tough conversation. Especially when a lot of classes just spring up last minute.
Right, right.
I mean, like firearms require pre-delivery at least 5 days before they're having a class unless it's some kind of emergency, but
Mhm.
for unarmed, I mean, some of those are like being class tomorrow.
Right.
You do like we do, pick a day when Karen's in here, we did it there. Yeah, on yesterday.
I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention. Because,
Thanks.
I mean, first and foremost, having 35 people
I agree.
in an unarmed guard class, that's a lot, you know. So, I mean, as an instructor myself, that's hard for me to cope with, you know.
You know, that's in the rule. So you could tweak that in the rule.
For what's that?
The maximum is 35.
Yeah.
So that could be tweaked to 10 or,
Right.
I mean, whatever you want to tweak it to.
Got it down to 20, 25.
Yeah.
Because in a perfect world, everybody's had their camera on and the instructor should be able to see
Right.
how many people in the class. In a perfect, that's how it's set up.
Do you, what's it called? A proactive, do you, proactively audit unarmed instructors?
Because basically we have no way of knowing when they're instructing because there's no pre-delivery because there's just so many classes that you can never, there's no way to be able to keep up with that. You take a EAC computer and a flow chart to keep up with who I was doing at work with.
But if they know that proactive audits are coming, because right now, I mean, like our rosters are due at our like renewal period versus like the firearm trainers, they have to, turn in their rosters at the end of each class. So maybe that can cut down on some of the.
But that, in this situation, they could have turned in that roster for 35 people, even though they weren't there.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily tell us anything.
But I feel like they're more right. But I feel like they're more comfortable doing what they're doing because it's 2 years in between when somebody's looking at your records versus like a firearms instructor. You know that your records are going to be looked at within days of you completing your class versus an unarmed instructor. We know that we have 2 years before our records are going to be looked at. Maybe that'll, you'll be a little bit more honest, and especially if you say, hey, we're going to start doing some proactive audits. Oh.
Well, you got that, and then you got the other situation of it's a 16-hour class, but the instructor only taught 4 hours. Taught the whole class in 4 hours or 6 hours. How do you do that?
It would just have to be a pre-delivery where I'm given notice, firearms pop in. Just I guess those surprise visits would be the only way. But that's a lot of pre-delivery.
Well, but even if you just looked at, like, I'm just saying, just look at the, just rosters, not even pre or post. We have to keep the rosters because we have to turn in our rosters to you.
Correct. And trainers are required to maintain their rosters, even though they haven't submitted them to me yet. And so you're saying just do spot checks on the rosters.
Correct. That's what I mean by a pro audit, just rosters. So it's not extra, it's no more paperwork than you would already get anyway. And I feel like if you announce, okay, we're going to start doing proactive audits and we're going to look at your roster.
And maybe it's just phone calls to a couple of people on the roster.
Yeah.
How was your class? What time did you start? What time did you finish?
I can do that.
And something else
I
too.
do that anyway.
The instructors need to to ensure that the roster is filled out completely.
Correct,
You know, because we saw that yesterday where
yeah.
the roster was not filled out completely. There was no signatures, maybe one or two signatures. So
About
I have no doubt some of the trainers are filling out their rosters on when it's time to submit them for their renewals. They just look back at their notes, and I have no doubt some of that's going on, so maybe just spot checking as we go.
we'll leave it. Oh boy, Kim's gonna hope.
Okay. Anything else for discussion? Okay. So I make the motion to bring, the committee meeting to a close. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thanks, guys.
On rules will be at 9:30.
On rules 9:30.
Whatever it is. What do you have to do about those things? Do you get these things? Yeah.
Sure, you must have a link there.
Get people.
Yeah, so there.
Well,